Hey guys, how's it going? All right, this one's primarily for Jason,
Hey, Chris.
but hopefully some of you guys will find some learning in it. And if anything, I'm gonna record this and I can share this later for anybody else who wants to use it. Um, all right, I guess I'll just jump into it. Oh, a real quick note. So I've been jumping around a little bit the past week, but I think I'm gonna sunset this particular group in the next 2 weeks. So by July, for those of you that want to stick around, let me know, and I will fold you into another group. Um, and I'll share that in the WhatsApp group chat also. Actually, let me just do that now so that I don't forget. So we still have the 22nd and 29th. Okay. All right. Um, cool. Thanks for bearing with me. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Have any of you guys launched a product hunt before? No?
I
Okay.
No.
have not.
All right. So just so for context, I think it's probably important just that I share. The first time we did it, we ended up fifth place. Um, then we did it again. We've landed first place, and then our most recent one, which was a different product, we ended up third place. So there is a structure to it for us to be able to place 3 different times. And I just want to at least like prove it. So I'm not just sharing with you again like some random high level whiteboarding stuff, but it's things that we actually executed. So I shared with you guys that presentation, and I'm gonna share with you kind of like again like the what we did to make it work. And yeah, and so some of it use at your own discretion as to how you want to do it, but I think like that's all the way that we did it is ultimately the way that we've been able to do it multiple times. So the first few things, and this is probably stuff you guys already know, but so the day starts at 12:01 a.m., right? So like it's for 24 hours theoretically, right? And that's PST. So if you're going to run a launch, you need to basically try to place within the top five by like 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's essentially the goal. And so how do you do that? How do you get a lot of that velocity early at that late of the night, right? It's probably not going to be through your newsletter to your users that are predominantly in the US, right? So um, it's going to be joining, I'll share with you some of these things, but it's going to be joining a lot of different groups. Uh, basically like international, they have upvote communities, LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp groups, right? You're gonna have to join all of these. They're strangers, you don't know them, but everybody's kind of like launching products at different times. So the idea is to try to leverage these different communities that are in different time zones to try to boost up your upvotes. So it's really like generating that list, and I'll share with you guys the kind of like a list that we've used in the past and trying to get as much of that activity and momentum in that early morning start. Again, before like 5 a.m. PST or 8 a.m. Eastern. Um, because once it hits like around that time, it's when Product Hunt then starts sharing it through their community. And then that's when it starts amplifying whoever kind of like the top performers are. Right. So that's important to note. Velocity early, volume late. Upvotes, comments in the first few hours signal the algorithm. That early traction, especially the first 5, 8 hours, is what compounds throughout the day. Authenticity is weighted. So it's again like if it's people just creating an account, so if it's like your friends or your neighbors that don't have never created a product hunt or voted in product hunt, it's going to be discounted. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to walk you through what to do beforehand. So like the 4 weeks leading up, you're going to want to generate comments, comment on other people's up. You got to do a lot of engagement on product hunt. So basically, you're logging in every day. You're inviting people to your page. You're promoting the hell out of your company profile page, etc. Right? To kind of get people starting to follow it. So by the time that you launch, you have a lot of people following the launch, and then those people it's a lot easier to convert to an upvote than it is on the day of. Okay. Um, Commenting is rocket fuel. So that it's just think about it like any other kind of like social platform as you think of like what engagement means and the value of engagement, right? So um, following somebody is great. Getting a like is great. Getting a comment's even better because it takes more effort, right? So responding back to a comment, it's even more effort. So like whatever again is like these algorithms are kind of structured for is like the stuff that isn't, the most scalable, that takes the most work gets counted the most. So that's something important to take note of. So this is kind of like a timeline to think about. So your first 4 weeks out to 2 weeks out, it's like your foundation. There's You want to set the date. You want to secure a hunter. And I'll share with you guys the hunter that we use. His name is Chris Messina. But uh, and he costs like 300 or 400 bucks or something like that to like take a meeting, and then he ends up being a hunter for you. But there's a bunch of them on there too. Like you can find other ones. What a hunter does is basically it's like an influencer on Product Hunt that already has a ton of followers. That's like, but basically they kind of like approve or give like the thumbs up to your product. And so when you launch, they're going to be your biggest evangelist and help drive some of that traffic. Funny though, it's like when we used the hunter, we ended up third. When we went on our own, we ended up first. So it's not going to be like the end all be all, but it will help, especially I think in your first launch, if you haven't done it before, to kind of like um, offset the learning curve for the other, you know, uh, actions that you need to be taking. Um, yeah, so like the 2 days leading up to it, that's like where you want to warm up the groups, drive traffic to your page. This is when you let people know on WhatsApp. This is what you go through all the like LinkedIn groups, but you spending, days to kind of like get people to really start like following your profile page because it's about to launch. And again, just like if you did it 4 weeks ago, attention span's really short, keeping it top of mind, so that when you ask for that favor, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to convert them to that upvote. 1201 is when you go live. This is when you try to get everybody that's followed and all those early supporters to really kind of make a big push. especially in those international groups. I would reserve your like internal community, meaning like your users or your newsletter, any personal subscribers or friends or customers until later in the morning. Just leverage these other ones where you can really kind of use that momentum to drive as much velocity as possible in the very beginning, and then you're going to use that second wind to really kind of like keep you at that at the top after you kind of are able to use the things that are again more spray and pray, but you're going to be doing a lot of activity to do that. Around 5 a.m. to noon is again pushing through the newsletter, your network, your communities, organic upvotes all morning long. Um, Really, I would say like past 3 p.m., you don't see much change. Like after 3 p.m., the positionings kind of most of the times set their place. Um, yeah, you're not going to see a ton of change. You can still try to make swings, but I've never really seen a big swing change happen after like 3 p.m. So just keep that in mind. Really make all those efforts before that time. Don't wait to the end to kind of like make a big concerted effort. It just doesn't really do too much. Um, and again, this is like I will say like it can help depending on the product, it can definitely like help boost users. You know, Anthropic still launches like their feature updates there, right? All these AI tools launch their updates on Product Hunt for a reason. You know, they have power users in those spaces. Jason, this probably will work well for you, right? So like finding users that have different use cases. The you know you're gonna for you to fully convert them to like a paying customer, obviously you want to create like a unique offering for Product Hunt, which they also encourage you to do. But like you're really trying to it's not just to get the 1, 2, 3 badge, right? But it's like you want to ultimately try to monetize. And so depending upon your ICP, sometimes it's great for that for conversion. Sometimes it's not. And maybe, you know, for us, for example, it's probably more of like a vanity metric. Like even though we saw a bump in users, it just wasn't the right type of users for our platform, to be honest. So we're really kind of like doing it for the badge and be able to use it as a promotional tool than anything else. I will say a side effect of placing in the top three is that you can get coverage from other newsletters that have uh, big followers. So one of them was like the Rundown AI for us, and we saw like trailing like 3 months traffic that came from that newsletter, and that traffic actually was a better direct conversion for us as the type of users on our platform than it was from Product Hunt itself. So there's collateral advantages that come from placing in the top three that are not directly related to Product Hunt. And you know, if you're asking like how much it cost, like those newsletters that, for example, the Rundown, it's like a 90, it's no, it's like I think they have like 1 million subscribers, 900 something subscribers, 1,000 subscribers. So you're talking about if we were to, I think we asked them at one point how much it would cost to post in their newsletter, and it's like $5,000 to $10,000, right? So like to be able to be featured in there organically, by placing in the top three, easily, you know, a good ROI. Some of the stuff I kind of talked about, but setting and scheduling the date. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays is like the highest traffic. I think we typically had done Tuesdays. Uh, Again, you can try to play the psychology or look at like what some of the what the some of the past archive of performers look like. But typically we would try to find like an off day, like a day that wouldn't see such high volume or be like super competitive for us in terms of the number of upvotes. And so we would try to find a day, and I think it's seasonal, and there's just different themes at varying times. I know we picked different days based on the when we launched, right? So it would be like looking at the trailing past like 4 weeks and then identifying which day was like the most busiest, and we would try to go to like the one of the least busy days. Not a Monday or a Friday, but like between Tuesday and Thursday, what was kind of like the the lowest upvotes across the board on those days, um, as a means to kind of identify what would potentially be the lowest competition. Um, but just kind of think about that. And then building the launch list. So here's like, see. Some of this might be dated, but these are all like all these different groups that you can, I'll share this with you guys. Um, here's more. There's Reddit forums. Uh, it's a good starting point, but for you guys, you can, like, there's a bunch of resources at this point. It's probably pretty easy, but like, okay. Any questions so far? Okay,
Oh,
cool.
this is already 10x more than I expected, so this is awesome. Thank you already.
Yeah, I
A
mean, like,
lot.
I never know what people will find useful. So I'm like, again, yeah, it can feel like a black hole when we are starting to do it. So, yeah, finding your hunter. I shared here Chris Messina. Like, if you go on Product Hunt and look up Chris Messina, you'll find him, and you can reach out to him. Pretty easy. That's your launch list. Drafting your assets is important, right? So like, you can look at the ones that we did. I mean, it's probably, graduated from what we did. Uh, um, but we did like a video, and we just kind of like made it so it was very easy for people to kind of understand. Definitely like look at the best. You'll find themes and trends, but like look at the last few weeks of winners, and then use that as kind of like your guideline, or even just like download those visuals and then upload them to like Claude or whatever, and like have it like analyze why these were, what's the theme across the board, and then have it help you generate some for yourself. But these are important. I will say, like, these screenshots and like showing your product in a tool or in an app, like in whatever application it's going to be, whether web-based or mobile-based, is going to be useful. That was definitely recommended by our hunter, and I think that's something that I think, like, you know helps a lot for you to be able to explain it and make it more tangible to the hunters. Um,
So I notice you have a Leader Pro for events and then the original Leader Pro. Are you allowed
yeah,
to do multiple submissions for the same company as long as it's a substantial feature?
yeah, when it's a substantial feature change, yeah, you
Okay.
can. Yeah. Um, okay. This is again just the reason why a hunter is helpful. Um, yeah, and again, like, you don't need to, but I would say like the first one, maybe it's useful to do it. Um, because like when we've done in the other two, we still ended up number five and number one. Here's some examples, like, think of, how to think about your content. It's pretty straightforward. Again, like, I would just feed it. And I mean, we didn't have this accessible when we were doing this, but like, I would feed yours. Like, I mean, I wouldn't fully rely on like AI to generate it, to be honest, like, because maybe that's what everybody else is going to be doing. So it might be difficult to stand out and it might not identify the things. But like, maybe, have it analyze what you're sharing, or what your profile is, and then have it give you some notes, right? I mean, I will say like the mobilizing and like the effort is really like the 2 days before. Uh, the 4 weeks out is, you know, it's really, I mean, if 4 weeks out is maybe like a half a day of work of really getting the assets together, generating the launch date, the page, right? And then intermittently, like you don't need to be doing this every day, but like 4 weeks to the two days prior, that's when you definitely want to like spend some downtime and maybe this is like, you know, through 2 to 5 hours a week in that time period of like 3 weeks to like do the things on Product Hunt to invite people to your page, engage with other product hunters, you know, do the engagement and ideally like you're logging in to Product Hunt like at least once a day for a couple of minutes at least because it's tracking the streak of like how much you're engaging and I think that does help. So I think you don't have to be like on there, I mean like a full-time job, but like that those 4 weeks up to the 2 days, that's where it's like a few minutes a day, a couple hours a week, engaging with others. That's really going to set a big difference versus just waiting to 2 days before. Okay. So I will say like you don't have to be crazy about it, but like you have to be uh consistent and disciplined about doing that activity because it will pay off. Um, and then the 2 days beforehand, uh, that's where it's like you're in those groups, forums, etc., just warming people up, right? It's like we're gonna launch in 2 days. You're just kind of like hyping everybody up, sharing what it is. It also helps too. Like by this point, you probably have like refined your log line like 15 different times, 20 different times. And so it's just the process is like so helpful, I think, as a first time founder or somebody who's launching for the first time. It's like it's gonna really like help you hone in on how to explain what the hell you do in like a few words. Because you're gonna get comments, especially if you're doing the right engagement, you're gonna get comments, you're gonna get feedback like, I don't know what the fuck this is, or it's like, oh, this looks cool, like can you explain more? And like based off of that engagement and feedback, it's really just kind of like help you hone in on really how to like position your product a lot better. Even if again you don't place, that I feel like is another like net positive side effect that comes out of it. All right, this is more of like a play-by-play once you go live. I will say like so we've done it where we've done like also uh, pay for upvotes and then not pay for upvotes. So this is like a gray area. I will say that, I think there's been times that there was one time we paid for upvotes and we didn't place it all. And then there was one time that we paid for it and I think we ended up like fifth or I think maybe the fifth and first we did pay for upvotes in those times. Third we didn't, and then another time we never placed when we did pay for them. And I think I think kind of use at your own discretion. I can't like concretely say that it does help. Uh, but I also can't say that it hurts, like I can't because you can't really it's hard to like yeah it's like you'll see it go up but then it's like also there's an algorithm that's tracking those things and so if it's too suspicious then it's like you'll see it go back down, right? And so just again like if you're buying up votes, you maybe if you're gonna buy them, if I was to say anything, like buy them like 10 at a time, spread them out, so it's not like it's not a bump at one time. And maybe be like conscientious around when you do it. So like I would do it obviously before like the 5 a.m., 8 a.m. time. And I just wouldn't buy like I would spread it across like maybe, you know, you'll find them. Like once you launch, people are gonna hit up your LinkedIn and they're gonna start messaging you on Product Hunt and your email and stuff. Like they're gonna find you. They'll be like, hey bro, you want upvotes, like whatever, and you're gonna see them all over the place. Um, I think like Yeah, I mean, I would allocate maybe like 300, 300 bucks to doing some of those things. Sometimes, like also LinkedIn groups, you can pay for being featured or pinned in the group. And I think that also helps probably more so than directly paying for the upvotes. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would just uh if it was me, I would at least earmark $200 to $300 budget for those kinds of things. And kind of like pick and choose based on, who you think is reliable and not reliable, because it's completely a shot in the bucket. Like I yeah, we've used like the same people, not the same, there's no consistency. Uh Yeah, once it's morning, stateside, that's when you want all the organic stuff. That's the newsletters, personal asks, any Slack community you're a part of, Discord communities, LinkedIn groups, LinkedIn pages, X, Twitter, Facebook groups, DMs, etc. You want to be hitting those up all day long. Uh, yeah, engaging with people really helps. Um, you'll see on ours, like, we have 109 comments in this one that we placed one, right? So um this one was 20 comments, so we didn't place. Let's see. 39 comments, but I think this was also we had picked a good day. It was a low day. Yeah. And it's just, again, make sure you engage with a bunch of others too. I know it says don't. Again, to me, it's a gray area. Um, So I think just kind of I want to make sure like I don't just fully evangelize it and just like but use at your own discretion. I do think it's not like I wouldn't say like don't do it at all. I think again because it's like even like the hunters like they're getting paid. They don't directly say you're paying me to get votes, right? But it's basically a trade if we're being real, right? It's like and it's gonna be like $300 kind of advising where they'll hop on a call with you, kind of give you some best practices, but then they'll also allow you to tag them as a hunter, right? So that's the trade. So just kind of keep that in mind. So you're in all, you're probably spending maybe like plan for 600 to 800 bucks for like a legit launch if you want to like try to place in the top three. And then just the that consistency will be the most. This is just kind of again more a little bit more some basic benchmarks, but obviously take it at your own discretion. Here's some helpful copy to use. The full checklist. Yeah, and I'll stop there. Questions, comments?
Are there any competitors to Product Hunt that people also try and use, or maybe to
I would
do
use
a like
Absent.
practice on as well before?
Oh, practice? Not really. I mean, like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, there's honestly like I don't think you need to stretch. Like, you can again always do another launch,
Hmm.
right? So. just find it like our first time we launched. I was like I mean, I don't even know what we did. I mean, like I'll show you. Like the learning curve, right? It's real. Like this was our first. Did I we place fifth? No,
It
that's
said a see previous four launches in that last one, I think. Yeah, top right.
yeah. But you can look at our evolution, like by the dates, like of when we launched. This is uh, yeah, like our first one on the we had one comment, nine upvote. You know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, when we kind of like bullshitted one time, we got 31, like we tried it again ourselves. So this, what I'm saying is like it's think of it like anything else. There's a learning
Mhm.
curve to it. And again, like it depends on your urgency and your seriousness. Like when we are like, oh, this could actually be a serious platform. This is like when we probably took it seriously is here. Um, that's then we got this is like the first time we used the hunter, and we got the advice, and we spent the time. We did the 4 weeks out, we did the two days out, all that stuff. That's when we placed in five, right? So like I think the rest of the times we didn't use the hunter for it, but like it was um yeah, that's how it works. I think we kind of, yeah, we lost the energy, like the effort, like we did the first time we're like, this was learning, we placed five. With the second time we did it, we're like, oh, we know this, we know what to do, place first. And then I think like after that, we kind of just like bullshitted our last few. Right. And that's what happens. So, uh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to ask. So, yeah, what do you think like the right like number of people to attract to the launch, like the audience, like how many?
What do you mean?
Like,
What do you mean?
I see you've got a lot of comments here on that one, on the series launch, like 109. So to achieve that, how big is was your audience?
I mean, I don't know how you're ask what you're asking. Like, if you're trying to ask for, like, there's the before the launch and then there's after the launch.
Before. So basically, where
Yeah, I
people,
said the goal is like
yeah,
try to get 100 people to follow your page,
okay, okay,
at least 100,
mm, got it.
right? Like, the more you do, the better. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, for Leader Pro, we got 1.2 thousand followers now, right? So if we do another launch, which we probably will at some point, like it becomes easier. But um, you still have to get all these people that following your company to follow the launch.
This is fascinating. I had no idea of the life cycle here, like the coach for a launch, all this stuff. So no, Chris, thank you for this. Would have been a hard lesson learned to try and do this one myself.
Yeah, I mean that's what we tried, and it just is, you're like, why? And it's,
It's a
but
good product, right? They'll figure it out. Like, no, no, I
yeah,
gotta give it a little
no,
kickstart.
it's not, it's none of that. It's yeah. So it's not that product hunt's not going to help you. Like AppSumo will help a little bit in terms of like, but product hunts, especially like those first 5 hours, like that's you. Like that's on you to get into the top five. Product hunt will help, um, uh, start leveraging their audience at that point, but it's still your job to get to the top 5. Cool. If there's no questions, let me know if you guys need anything else then. We will go back to next week we'll go back to the milestones and then we'll try to figure out, I want to figure out at least like another work session to kind of close things out. Those of you guys that are gonna wrap up, I'll also ask this in the WhatsApp group. I just kind of want to get like a sense of, you know, um, yeah, what worked for you guys, what could be improved. I think this is something that I'll keep ongoing. This was like an experiment for me and experiment for you guys, I'm sure too. And yeah, and it was super interesting. Like, and I'm excited to kind of graduate from this. Have you guys, some of you guys I've seen is do some substantial things, which is awesome to like, go from just ideas to having a product live to having users to having customers to growing customers. So I think it's really cool to like see the evolution. Um, and I am going to take some time to digest too between now and the next group of like what I feel, and again from your guys' feedback too, but what I feel like can help maybe increase those chances of founders progressing forward. How do I help improve the chances of individuals, that have a hard time staying accountable to themselves? Like, how can a group like this really help them to stay accountable? Because that's really it. Like, I think so much of this game of what we were choosing to do is being entrepreneurs. I mean, I know for me personally, everything's about self accountability. And I wasn't born that person, and I wasn't that person in my 20s or my early 30s. But it was like a lot of self work to kind of go through that to then figure out. And then now it's like now it's ingrained into me as part of like, it's a habit. But, I think like, yeah, I just know that if from who I was in my 20s and my early 30s, that can make that much of a shift, pretty much anybody can. So it's like, how do I help move that along? Because, yeah, I think it's really helpful and important. So, anyways, that's my bigger picture thing of trying to figure this thing out.
What's the best way for us to help give feedback there?
Shoot me a email or a WhatsApp message. You can DM me. Uh, yeah,
Okay.
whatever.
I'll kick off something in the group then. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a very specific thing that came to mind, at least that helped me personally. So I'll add it in.
That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. And even things that you feel like didn't work or things that you feel like could be better. Like, I mean, I just want to make it improve. In addition, obviously the things that really helped you guys. Because then maybe I can, really like spend more time on some of whatever those things were and then clean up some of the other stuff that wasn't as useful. So cool. Good deal. Thank you guys for again spending time with me, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.